Yes, go ahead.
They're wondering if you can adjust the bank so that you can print and show them how to print
For
the
sure.
checks.
Absolutely, that's a great
And the
comment.
flash widget.
Perfect, perfect. So we're back at the home page. If I click on banks, this one actually takes me to my running bank balances. I'll have to go a little deeper. Boom, this is my running bank balance. This is quickly like, where am I at? Where am I at? Where am I at? I can get to registers. I can have multiple bank. I can switch to verified. Here's where you go if you want to really play with the pieces. Bank homepage, click, okay? And currently right now, I don't have any check writing settings out here. So I'm going to actually click on my bank, and I'm going to scroll down towards the bottom, and currently it's under handwritten, okay? So basically if I select this and I'm like, let's go ahead and do check on the top. Click and hit edit bank. Basically what it does here is I now have the little flash widget, okay? So if you're doing this first time, what you do is you, let me see if my printer's on because we're going to be printing some checks. Yep, it's on. Awesome. So ideally, the first time you do it is you go like this. Set up these little boxes, you can move them around. I would go like this, print test, and I'd select the printer that I want to send my check to, okay? So basically what's going to happen is it's going to kind of kick off a little print, and then I'm going to hold it up with another check. Let me grab my checks as well. Awesome. So I now have my little print test out, and I have a blank check in my hand. So I have two pieces of paper. Ideally what you do is you take your one that you printed out, like where the field's going to line up, and you take your blank one, and you hold it up to the light, and you see like where the pieces are going to line up. So according to this one, it looks like I need to bounce my amount up just slightly. So I selected it, it turned it blue. I'm now going to use my arrow keys. Click, click, probably right about in there. And I'm just trying to see if there anything else needs to come up. Looks like my memo line needs to come up just one little click or two. Alrighty, perfect, just like that. So ideally, if we weren't in a class, we would probably say print test, put it up again, kind of to see where we're at, and then see what's happening. I'm going to go ahead and say save settings. Let's call this good, okay? This is how you adjust your things. There is an extra line, like some checks have to have a double vendor line. They have one that goes to who it's paid for, and then one that goes in an address window. So there is options of doing that kind of stuff. I'm going to say save settings. Awesome. Back to the bank homepage. I'm now set up with this bank. Let's go check out our expenses. So because I know that it was right in here, I created it. I'm probably going to go like this. Go get me the last one that I created. Perfect, that's it. It was the $600 one. Awesome. So right now, because my bank wasn't originally set up with a thing, I have to kind of go modify this and see if it'll let me do it right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit line items. We're going to come down to the payment, and we're going to hit edit. And currently, what it's doing is I'm just going to click, okay, I just clicked edit on it. Basically what it does is it found the new print option, okay? But it didn't have it before because what it does is it looks at the bank, and it says, is this bank a check? Yes or no? I just did a quick little edit on it, and it said, okay, cool, we'll play. I did add another little history thing to my piece, but here's my check. Let's pretend that it's the exact number that we wanted, the 3535. It's not, but this is just for practice. I walk over to my printer, or depending on how your setup is, you stick your printer into the wherever you need to feed it into your printer, or if you're paying bills, you're going to have your setup done, so you're not going to be up out of your seat hardly at all. Now what we're going to do is we're going to say print the check. Pulls up a little flash widget. It converts numbers to values. So it says $600. It's going to be paid to Pro Bowling Supplies. Here's some other information. If I want to show hide anything, say I didn't want this notes right here. I do want the notes, but like you can literally go like this. You can show hide different pieces of the puzzle if you needed to. Okay. We're going to hit print check. We're going to make sure that it's selected on the printer that we wanted. Hit print. It gives me a little message. Cool, I successfully sent it to the printer. It says, hey, if for some reason you have a problem, contact your supervisor. I'll actually show you how to do it in case something messes up. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go ahead and do some stuff. I usually click this button, or if you wanted, you can click some buttons at the top. They do the exact same thing. But when you go back to the expense receipt that you were working on, which was number 49, it'll now have additional information as far as who did it, who printed it, who did what, okay? If something happened that was totally a mess up, like I have my check right here, and we'll actually scan it in so that you can see all the different little pieces. But if something went wrong, here's how you would do it. If you're an admin user, you could go Edit, unclick that guy, and go like this. And then basically what happens is right here, it says, cool, watch this. It gives you another print button. If you print it again, guess what it's going to do in the background?
It's going to take it off again.
No, it's going to go ahead and do it. I think I have some paper in there. Let me just check. Okay, watch this. I say print again, and I say print it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you what it's going to flag on the backside. It's going to say reprinted, reprinted. Like it's going to kind of, hey, just so you know, this check got reprinted. So right here, if we come down, reprinted, see history. Like we're trying to help you out, okay? Like most people don't have that admin permission, even if they are in there. If you're letting them play with printing checks and stuff like that, you have to kind of figure out who you're letting. But what happens is it's trying to prompt you right here. See history. Okay, so what happened? I printed the check right here for $600, okay? And this was at 10:39. Immediately, somebody else did it, and they updated the print status, okay? Oh, and then it got reprinted here. Like, we're tracking that entire history as far as what's going on. This is your money. You got to track that kind of stuff, okay? So what we're going to do next is we're going to do a quick little scan job. I'm going to just show my desktop really quick. We're going to open up our scanner, and while it's going to be scanning, I'm going to actually go ahead and get ready to pop that into my item. Once again, I'm kind of in training, and so my setup is not ideal. At home, I have dual monitors. I have my scanner and printer right next to me, and I have my main laser printer in case I need to do bulk stuff. Like, I'm feeding checks in. I don't even leave my desk, okay? Like, you'll figure out your setup. I have a little scanner here. I'm going to say custom, which basically takes it to the 100 DPI instead of like way high. We're trying to make it fairly small because we're uploading it to a server. I'm going to hit next. It's going to give it the item number of 10. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to switch back to Adilas. I'm going to click right here on the Add Edit Photos, and I'll just wait to hear the teeny little sound of the scanner running back across, meaning that it's done with its thing. It's gonna do it here really quick. There's a great little image that kind of shows you some information about photos. I just heard my scanner, and now I hit like this, browse, and I have to go to my desktop because this is where I have my folder, my scans, and it's number 10, and add it. Click. So there's my first little image. I'm going to go ahead and just pop in this the test page just so you can kind of see what that looks as well, just so you can see what's going on. So I'm going to start that scanning, and then I'm going to talk about this next test page. So it's going to give it number 11. In the meantime, here's what happens. My original file size was 77K. That's teeny. That goes up lightning fast, okay? By the time we were done compressing it, it was at 40K, and so I had a compression factor of 1.9. Ideally, we're trying to keep it under 10. Like if you start getting big, huge megabyte files and we crunch it down to 100K, like you're literally working 50 times harder than you want, okay? So you don't want to do that. I'm going to go like this. I heard the scanner just give me my report. Here's my information. If I had any captions or notes, it would be right there. I'm going to say browse, 11, open, and just for fun, just so you can see where the caption shows up. This was the print setup page that we printed when we were trying to line up our fields. Click. So now I'm going to click on View Gallery from one of the multiple links that say View Gallery, depending on how you like to get there. Here's my different pieces. Here's the check. So here's the Pro Bowling. We move this. Oop. Ideally, it looks like I probably need to move that down a little bit more. Did I move it up or down? I don't remember what I did, but like you can kind of see that that one kind of needs to be slightly adjusted. There's the check, and here's the print checking type thing. So literally, if I knew that that amount value needed to be down a few more, how would I do that? Shannon, how would I do that? Say I see a problem there, okay? you know what, they're going to take that check. It's not a big deal on this one. I'm not
Yeah.
going to have to reprint it. How would I fix that?
You would go back into your print page setup and adjust your settings. To
Correct.
move that down a little bit.
Bank homepage. If you have to have pretty high permissions even to be in
Set up
banks,
and
okay? Set up and test. Grab your little thing. I probably did move it up instead of down, didn't I?
Maybe. Yeah, just move it down.
Let's go like that, okay?
And then-
Save settings.
That's it.
And on our very next print we do, it should be able to put that amount field more where we want it to go. Okay?
Great.
Awesome. That was a great question. Great question.
Joe actually has another question for you.
Good. Joe, bring it on.
Can banks be set up for direct deposits payment also? Can direct deposit payments be made?
Okay. I want to say yes and no, and here's what happens, okay? So technically, the direct deposit piece of it actually happens between you and the bank. Adilas doesn't even really know about that right this second. And so technically, we already have employers who are doing direct deposits. They're automatically sending direct deposits out to their people, and then they're just recording it in Adilas as an ACH transaction instead of a cash or a check transaction, okay? The piece that I said yes and no is, guess what? Adilas, we are moving towards a level where we want to take and accept ACH payments for people who are doing different things. So we have a couple projects that are on our tick list that are going to be actually creating those little batch files to send back and forth over web services to talk to banks. So we need it for us, but as we develop it, it may end up being developed into a piece that's going. An ACH transaction inside of Adilas is as easy as doing this. Let's say that we wanted to create a vendor. Actually, let's go pay an employee. Watch this. Expense receipt new. Here's what we're basically doing. Let's pay for somebody's work, okay? We're going to pay somebody's people wages right now. Now, ideally, you could go through payroll, and we could do that in a minute, but I'm just going to show you really quick. We're going to hit new, and instead of a vendor, I'm actually going to pay an employee, and I know that Adilas demo is in here. Adilas demo, boom, created an expense receipt. Here's how easy you can do an ACH transaction right out of Adilas, but you don't necessarily have to have the full connection with your bank. But if he's asking about us automating it, I would say that's futuristic, but yes, possibly coming. Okay, let's say that there's $500 we're going to pay to Adilas as a bonus. Awesome, sweet. So how are we going to categorize that? Guess what we were just dealing with earlier today? Which can do I need to put this $500 in? Okay. If I click on this, here's my options. Okay. Do we want to put this under wages? Do we want to put it under something else? Do we want to put it under I'm not sure? What do we want to put it under?
Sales tax.
Okay. We could probably do this, and it has a note here that says it's a bonus. I'm going to tie it to my, is that Sacramento? I can't remember. I think it was the Sacramento location. So right here, watch this. Instead of saying check, I can go like this. Was that an EFT or was that an ACH transaction? ACH is automatic or automated clearinghouse, which means it's automatically going to be pulled out. And an EFT is an electronic funds transfer. So like literally you could do it this way. So if I'm paying somebody and it's automatically being pulled out of my bank account, I'm going to say, oh, that was an ACH transaction. On today, $500, it automatically came out. Go. So at this point, it now is under an ACH transaction, but it's still tied to your bank. And $500 technically went out of that bank. Okay. The main difference is we're going to actually go to the banks really quick, just so you can see. If we hit our register, what happens is this one kind of still came out of the amount being paid out, but if I went to the physical levels of it, or if I wanted to actually do some different payment searches, here's the different payments that I've made today. One's ACH, one's check. Like there's tons of different ways you can find it. You could literally be like, I just want to see my ACH transactions for this time period. Go get it. It'll kind of, you have tons of ways. Once it's in the database, you can search it to your heart's content. Yes?
Okay, so what I'm saying is that was what I did on the Adilas side, but I would have had to set it up with my bank for it to be deposited to my
Correct. And so that's completely, that's paperwork and making sure you have bank account numbers and all this kind of stuff. When we get to that level, we're going to have to add another level of security, because as soon as you have any sort of documentation that deals with, here's my bank number and routing number, and here's your bank number and routing number, we have to encrypt those things for storage. So right now, even under all by itself, when I click on banks, right here, this account number, okay, and the routing number and stuff like this, I can, let me go here, so we actually go to a bank homepage and get into it. So here's your account number and your routing number. Behind the scenes, in order for us to be PCI compliant and even just for peace of mind, we do not store these as raw values, okay? We basically use a little cipher or cryptic type thing. We do a hash on it. So if it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we take that, we expand it out, we basically it's almost like when you were a kid writing like X equals 2, you know, like that type of thing. We kind of flip-flop it. So if you read it in the database, it looks like garbage. You have to have the cipher, or basically the decoder, to get it back out. So anything that's secure or crazy like that, social security numbers, account numbers, anything that we're doing like that, we are storing all of those pieces. Passwords, usernames, it's all encrypted for storage. So that's what we do to protect us and you guys for any sort of thing in case there was some sort of a breach or something. So, yes?
Yeah, so the comment there was he gave that a 10-4 in the description. He said, so the ACH is just a shortcut to set up and skip check writing.
Correct, correct. Basically, eventually, here's how I use ACH in my personal life or business, okay? We have a number of different accounts we have set up for web hosting and actually paying for servers. But what we do is we actually gave them our debit card number, so it comes directly out of our bank. It looks like it's on a credit card, but it's just a debit card that's tied to our bank. And so when it comes through, they'll send me an invoice. I don't even watch it at all until I get the invoice. I get the invoice, and then I scan it in, do it as an ACH payment, and I usually have to verify it as when it happened. The difference between a check and an ACH, a check I write today, I send it in the mail on Monday, and it gets to the person by Wednesday, okay? There's a time lapse there. ACH transaction, the bank may know about it before I know about it, possibly, okay? So that's, like, you cut out that whole time piece. So instead of saying, I see it, and I waited, and eventually the bank sees it, it's like, I saw it and the bank sees it. It stacks it right on top of each other like that. So that's how I would do an ACH transaction if I was doing it. We do it all the time. Matter of fact, if you wanted to even see me jump in there and show you some physical ACH transaction, I could, but like we use it all the time for ACH stuff. And we have additional reasons that we want to accept ACH payments for people being able to pay for their monthly services.